have to try to do something. Way too many people are gonna die. And they're gonna die a horrible death. And I can't have that. We're taking cars from the inbound rail yard to my left, and we are breaking them apart into smaller groups to make up outbound trains. The locomotives were just passing me, and they were pulling as hard as they could. The cars that they were pulling were all extra heavy cars. The bulk of what was in front of me was gasoline tankers. They hold an awful lot of gasoline. I mean, we're talking about thousands and thousands of gallons of gasoline each. The locomotives pulled the 6 cars up into the first set of brake retarders, where they were to be held. And these cars in front of me, as they're stretched out over the hill in the retarders, are not supposed to be moving. And after the locomotive cut away, I could hear a very high-pitched squealing noise, which was the sound of the steel locomotive wheels moving, grinding against the steel parts of the brake retarders. They were failing. They're not going to hold the cars. And the cars began to roll back down the way that they are not supposed to go. I just remember seeing the track that they're lined for, seeing a small gray tanker, and seeing the hazmat placard on the back of that tanker. It's the skull and crossbones. It's chlorine. Pure chlorine. They're gonna build up a lot of speed, and they're gonna plow into the chlorine car. I've got hundreds of thousands of gallons rolling free toward chlorine, and a whole lot more gasoline. And I'm in a city. I'm in downtown Allentown. I'm surrounded by homes, communities. If they're not consumed by whatever massive explosion from the gasoline, they're gonna have to contend with chlorine gas and ammonia in its purest form. The only way that is even conceivable to stop these cars at this point is to somehow get onto these cars as they're rolling by me, jump on, and apply a handbrake. And as all this is going through my head, a voice comes over the radio behind me on the wall, and I hear, "You better get up there and get a brake on there. You better get up there and put a brake on." I figured I would hit the ladder, and because of the ice, just right in between the cars, I got cut in half or whatever. But at this point, so what? I'm gonna die anyway. So I did it. I picked the next spot, made the jump, and I actually got onto the ladder. I made it. And I scrambled up to the top of the brake platform and shot right over to the handbrake as fast as I could, and applied it fully, turned the wheel clockwise. And normally when you apply a handbrake fully, what happens is the wheels of the rail car completely lock up. And you'll see sparks coming up from the steel on steel contact, and they come to a halt pretty quick. So I applied the handbrake fully, and nothing happened. And I look down at the chain, and it's dangling. It's just swaying in the breeze. My next thought was, what else can I do? But when I turned around to look at the next car that I could jump to, the end of that car did not have a handbrake. The next car in line that I was going to jump to, the handbrake was on the other end of the car. And there's no way to get to that. There's just nothing else I can do. You can feel the force that these things are moving with. And when they collide with another stationary object, I think I'd rather get off. So I got to the far end of the brake platform, got up as much speed as I could, and on the way out, on my way off this brake platform, before I jump, I'm gonna kick the chain. Maybe there's a stick, who knows, in the chain that'll come free. Got my momentum up, started running off the brake platform of the tank car. As I passed the chain, I kicked it with the side of my boot. But as my feet left the platform, making the jump away from the car, that was when I heard that zip. The brake engaged. The linkage came taut. It was a very high-pitched noise. You could hear that. It's almost like time almost stops. And it's funny because when people do say that your life flashes before your eyes, yes, it really will. And the speed at which it happens is incredible. I can remember, one of the billions of things that goes through your head. I can remember my daughter has spina bifida. She can't walk. She's basically paralyzed from the waist down. Her and I were dancing. There was a little song playing, and I had I picked her up, and we were just twirling around. And I'll never get to do it again. I don't know what happened. I really have. I jumped, and that's the end of the tape for me. And there's a drainage creek there, and that's where I ended up, somewhere down at the bottom of the little hill there. I can only imagine it would have been a massive explosion. If I hadn't jumped on the car, no, I definitely would not have made it. The surrounding community, even just from the initial blast alone, would have been just wiped out, gone. Beyond that, beyond the immediate community within, a few miles, they would have to contend with the hazardous material, the gases, the chlorine. The casualties would have been terrible. Men, women, children, gone. Entire city, gone. My goal in trying to stop those cars was to keep people alive. I would have never thought that I would have been even physically capable of doing some of the things. But once you take away that basic human thought, feeling, or instinct of the fear of death, once you take that away, it's incredible what people can do.